With over 650 student organizations at UA, it is important that your individual organization has a well defined purpose and a vision. Each organization has a unique influence and way of moving about the campus. Students have so many options at their fingertips, so a well structured organization is critical in gaining buy in for general membership and in tackling the aspirations of what your organization hopes to accomplish. In this module, we will discuss priorities you should consider when building an effective team within your student organization. Through exploration of key concepts, you will have an opportunity to define the role of your organization and explore practical ways to engage your members in the vision of your group. Let's get started. UA's Capstone Creed is a principle that guides the students and our campus community to the actions and values that bring about optimal success. This creed speaks to the essence of what we hold as valuable at UA and what we hope students gain through their experiences within UA. The Capstone Creed, however, does not just live on campus, but is something that we hope lives and breathes outside the walls of UA. Just as UA has a creed, your student organization should be guided by a vision, a mission, and also speaks to what you do and who you are. Our Capstone Creed represents our values, the skills we hope to cultivate, and the actions we hope to inspire. Similarly, in thinking about this particular module, we want you to center your thoughts on your student organization and its specific mission. Let's consider for a moment an organization or teamwork creed and the various principles that could be at the center to guide your student organization. Ultimately, what actions or what would create the best possible avenue for success for your student organization? And how might that differ regardless of the individual mission or purpose? At UA, we have student organizations at various stages of activity, from 100-year-old groups to new organizations with just a year under their belt. It is great to see the vision and passions of our student population carried out in student organizations, but it is clear that none of that success has happened overnight. Building an organization or team is a process. And in order to get your members behind the vision of your organization, it requires attention, care, and respect to contributing members of the organization. If we unpack those three ideas, we understand that action is the act of taking notice or taking special care of something. And care expands on this idea of giving attention to something, but giving attention with intent to avoid damage or risk. Finally, respect is the essence of understanding the organization and giving the organization what it is owed or what it is due when it comes to that level of attention and care. All of these things are foundational and work to build an effective foundation, i.e., underlying principle or basis. And they are important to fostering both individual as well as group responsibility to the goals of your organization. It is also important to seek to inform members of your organization so that there is a shared vision that they are empowered to contribute to. The most effective teams don't build a foundation on just one aspect of what they do or even just some of what they do. Ultimately, it is a process of identifying areas for improvement and considering these ideas in all that we do. It can really enhance an organization's opportunity for increased effectiveness. Of course, all of this sounds great, but how do you really do it? How do you foster accountability? How do you empower action among your members? How do you form a team? In order to get to the bottom of what motivates a team, we have to understand the foundation of the design. We have to understand what is the blueprint guiding that team. To help us think about making a plan of action for our blueprint, I would like you to watch a brief little clip about an amazing principle made famous by Simon Sinek called the Golden Circle.
There's a pattern. As it turns out, all the great and inspiring leaders and organizations in the world, whether it's Apple or Martin Luther King or the Wright brothers, they all think, act, and communicate the exact same way, and it's the complete opposite to everyone else. All I did was codify it. And it's probably the world's simplest idea. I call it the golden circle. Why, how, what? This little idea explains why some organizations and some leaders are able to inspire where others aren't. Let me define the terms really quickly. Every single person, every single organization on the planet knows what they do, 100%. Some know how they do it, whether you call it your differentiating value proposition or your proprietary process or your USP. But very, very few people or organizations know why they do what they do. And by why, I don't mean to make a profit. That's a result. It's always a result. By why, I mean what's your purpose? What's your cause? What's your belief? Why does your organization exist? Why do you get out of bed in the morning? And why should anyone care? Well, as a result, the way we think, the way we act, the way we communicate is from the outside in. It's obvious. We go from the clearest thing to the fuzziest thing. But the inspired leaders and the inspired organizations, regardless of their size, regardless of their industry, all think, act, and communicate from the inside out. Let me give you an example. I use Apple because they're easy to understand and everybody gets it. If Apple were like everyone else, a marketing message from them might sound like this. We make great computers. They're beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. Want to buy one? Meh. And that's how most of us communicate. That's how most marketing is done, that's how most sales is done, and that's how most of us communicate interpersonally. We say what we do, we say how we're different or how we're better, and we expect some sort of behavior, a purchase, a vote, something like that. Here's our new law firm. We have the best lawyers with the biggest clients. We have, we always perform for our clients, do business with us. Here's our new car. It gets great gas mileage. It has, leather seats. Buy our car. But it's uninspiring. Here's how Apple actually communicates. Everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. The way we challenge the status quo is by making our products beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. We just happen to make great computers. Want to buy one? Totally different, right?
Now let's recap Simon's principle and think about applying it to our student organization work. For the golden circle to work properly, you must have clarity of why, discipline of how, consistency of what. No one section of the golden circle is more important than the other. The most important thing is a balance across all three. Why? If you don't know why you do what you do, how do you expect anyone else to? For others to know your why, you must first have the clarity yourself. As a leader of your student organization, you must be able to create the why and communicate the why to the members of your organization. How? In order to bring your why to life, you must be disciplined in living your hows. You must behave in ways that are aligned with your values, guiding principles, strengths, and beliefs. Your events, your programs, your social media should support where you are and what you are, and it should be your how. What? Everything you say and do must be consistent with what you believe. After all, if we live in a tangible world, then the way people will know what you believe is if you say and do the things that you actually believe. That is what it means to truly be authentic. The golden circle is not just about a communication tool, however. It is also something that can provide insight into the way great organizations are structured. If we imagine that the golden circle is a three-dimensional model, it looks as if the top-down view of it represents a cone. The cone represents a layered organization system. At the top of the system, representing the why, is the leader. This person articulates the why and points to a vision of a better future. The next level down, the how level, includes the people who are inspired by a leader's cause and inspired by the mission of the organization. They are the workers that are willing to give effort and sacrifice in order to bring the vision to life. The what at the bottom of the cone are the things the organization says and does that breathe life into the why. They make the why tangible. An organization communicates its why through everything it says and does: its marketing, its events and programs, its social presence, the decisions its leader makes. It is everything. As we begin to think about the Golden Circle in relation to your student organization, we wanted to narrow it down to the principles of interaction with your org. If you can remember to do the following things, you will inspire a Golden Circle effort within your student organization. 1. Be attentive to the vision. Start each meeting with a reminder of your vision or mission. Report and remind your members of how your actions since the last meeting have contributed to that mission. Next, create an atmosphere of care. Most individuals care about what they are invested in. Make sure you are creating investors in your student organization. Investors are created because you ask them to support the organization, you value their perspective, and you utilize their expertise. Find out what the members of your organization are good at and then use them. Once you've found out those talents, respect the contributions of your members. Use their talents for what goals you have for that particular year. Appreciate what they bring to the table. This can be done through monthly recognitions, through the group messaging system that your organization uses, or even public recognition. Foster individual and group responsibility. Think back to the RACI Matrix activity from Module 1. Make sure everyone is comfortable fulfilling their individual roles. Also, don't forget to have team priorities and objectives. Finally, inform your members by sending meeting notes, updating them on progress related to programs or events or objectives. Keep them in the loop on new developments and include them in all aspects of the organization, from public facing events to behind the scenes decision making. Of course, any student organization can face obstacles to their success. It is important to be aware of the things that can derail your organization's progress. For this reason, we encourage you to be attentive to the needs of your members and to think about the many variables that might impact an individual's experience. Consider the resources available on campus to address the needs of students. Via the Student Health Center, the Counseling Center, and other approaches to dealing with health and wellness on campus, students can receive support to deal with challenges that may be impacting their performance in their role with your student organization. We recommend you have check-in meetings with your student organization members and always consider things that they might be going through outside of the walls of your organization. If you find certain personalities or aspects of your team failing to work together, also consider two specific resources available via the source. The source provides both mediation and arbitration processes to assist with working through conflicts that might arise within your organization. Additionally, we offer training and support to help organizations become more effective campus collaborators and are also available to conduct team building activities or consult with your organization about how to be effective in building more team synergy. Make sure to check those things out. Finally, to wrap up what you have learned in this part of Module 2, we are going to ask that you go to the Module 2 folder to complete the Golden Circle activity. In this worksheet, we are going to explore your organization's how, why, and what, and unpack some personal ways that you can begin to make an impact in the teamwork capacity of your organization for this academic year.